Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to another education session. I'm Graeme Dunlop. I'll be your Toastmaster and/or host for this evening. Now, tonight we are talking about membership, onboarding, and website, it says in the calendar. Now, website, that could encompass a number of things, but we're going to be talking about Easy Speak for club automation. We have three great presenters tonight, Dearne Rout, Amit Merwar, and Charlotte Lloyd. So let's get right into it. Our first presenter this evening is our District 73 Admin Manager, Dearne Rout, and she'll be talking to us about MeetUp. You got everything you need, Dearne?
I sure do. Thank
I'll take
you.
it away.
Thank you very much. All right. So, meetup. Now that I've resized everybody, do a reaction for me or pop your virtual hand up if you've never heard of meetup. This is good. This makes me happy that everybody's at least heard of meetup. So, Meetup is one of those great resources that at the moment, as a district, we have and we can use to get our message out a lot wider. We know that TIS has said there's been a decline in membership numbers. Many clubs are seeing their decline in their number of attendees and their number of guests. Meetup is another tool for you to use to get the message of your club out there. So the benefits of using something like Meetup to get that message out there, get those new guests. Meetup is one of those tools where people are going to go on there to look for meetings, to look for events, to look for somewhere to meet up with other people already interested in that topic. They'll be looking for personal growth. They'll be looking for confidence, public speaking. They're already actively looking for it. So you have an active audience to be able to tap into. It automates some of that promotional material. Meetup does promote the events. If it sees someone in your area who has, in the algorithm, done a search for something like that in the past, it will pop your meeting event up for you and push that through to be able to attract the guests. And it does bring a lot of drop-ins. So it does make people realize, oh, there's going to be something on here at this time. So that's where Meetup is one of those great tools that we have available to us as clubs. And we need to utilize as well with this change in environment. So you might be asking yourself, well, what's the difference between social media, Meetup, our own club website? We've got all of these avenues. Meetup is a tool that needs to be used in conjunction with the others. I have actually gone out to some Meetup experts whose clubs are using it all the time. They've told me about their successes, their failures, or their challenges. And one of the things that they raised is that when you have Meetup there, it's not a standalone promotion. You're going to be linking it through to your club website, which will be your Easy Speak or your Free Toast, or your Find a Club. But it's the way of being able to get that sparkly attraction to the algorithm, to direct them to come to your meeting and click on your website and be able to click on those. You can also then use it to download nice little posters, which I will go through a little bit later, that you can put on your social media events or put on your social media page. So Meetup is one that gets used in conjunction with everything else. So Meetup, there's been a lot of questions over the period of how do I link into the district Meetup account? So for those who aren't aware, the district has a paid Meetup account, which means that we can create as many events as we like once you're an event organizer on our district Meetup. So what I'm going through here is to be able to get you onto the district Meetup account so you can create as many events as you like. The big thing about that is that we don't just go in and pick a random email address. this is where I've got here step 1, that you actually create your own MeetUp account. So you do need a personal MeetUp account, or if you have a club shared email address, like a club Gmail, I created in 5 minutes a club Gmail address, meltontoastmastersclub@gmail.com. That's one that I have the password shared with my committee. So any of them can access it. It's a club email address. If you're going to use a personal account, so you're putting it as your name and using your own personal email address, the recommendation is to have 2 people as organisers. Just so then if somebody wins lotto and goes off to the Maldives and doesn't care about Toastmasters for a period of time, we can all drink, then at least someone else can go in and do those updates. So if you're following along at home and want to give this a go while we're here, you can go in and create your own little MeetUp account. This pack will also be available in the shared drives as well. And you can get direct flights to the Maldives. So at least we can come find you when you've won lotto and you've gone to the Maldives. Step 2. So each state, we've got the URLs here. Each state has their own MeetUp group. So it targets people in those states. It's not just one account for all of District 73. There's one for Vic, one for SA, one for Tas. So that way it does target people in those states. So when you have created your personal MeetUp account, you'll go to one of those URLs. And I will show you a live demonstration once I go through the slides. You'll join those groups. You don't have to pay to join those groups. If it asks you to pay for it, you can go ignore. Just join the group. It automatically accepts you into the group, which is the good part. So that's the easy bit. Create your own account, join one of our D73 MeetUp groups. Your next step is where you ask to be an event organizer. And this is where myself as the admin manager comes in. So I have the power and the access. We also, VJ and a couple of the others on the leadership team, we are the ones who will upgrade you to be an event organizer. So when you join at first, you'll just be a member. Once you're a member, you then email my email address, the admin@d73.org, with your club name, what your MeetUp account name is. I do ask if you can attach a screenshot of your profile picture, only because it gives me a first name. Doesn't give me your email address, doesn't give me your last name, doesn't give me anything else like that. So if you've got a name that could be quite common, like Trish could be quite a common name, if there's more than one Trish, I'm going to be scratching my head and going, which one are you? So it just then makes it easier for me to be able to find that profile. So once you send that email through to me, I try to reply pretty quickly. But I basically promote you to be an event organizer. I email you back saying, yes, you are now an event organizer, and you can go through and create your events. So when you go through and I've done the promotion for you, you go in and you're ready to start promoting your club. So when you're creating a MeetUp event, your first one, and this was actually a really good tip given to me. There are screenshots as well to be able to follow along. You create your event, include what topics, because that helps the algorithm to pick up public speaking, confidence, Toastmasters, etc. Make a very pretty description. Include club photos, because that's what people are going to be interested in. They're going to want to see people with happy, smiling faces. But if you're not sure, you can see in the group other clubs' events. And if you want, copy their events. Have a look at what Happy Hour Toastmasters have done. Have a look at what a couple of the other big clubs have done. They've got these really fun events, and people will look at them and go, wow, that does actually look like fun. So once the event's ready, you click publish, you announce it, which will give you a link that you can copy to your social media, copy to your club website. You can share it directly to Facebook. You can download little flyers. You've got all of that there ready to go. And then for subsequent events, so you can see here how I've created for you some cute little screenshots. But as I said, will go in the drive, so you'll be able to follow along later. And then your subsequent events, this is where MeetUp makes it really easy. There's a copy button. Copy, make a new event. Hooray! You change the time, the date and time. That way you don't accidentally advertise an event that you're not doing. You know, if for some reason your venue's not available for that day, you're meant to have a club meeting on the weekend of district conference. Are you going to pick conference or club meeting? It's a bit of a tricky one, but at least that way, if you keep copying and pasting, it's worth thinking about. If you want to get some of your members involved who may not be in the committee, why not ask one of them to do MeetUp, one of them to do Facebook? Get other people in your club engaged to be able to do these copies and pastes. So we've got some important tips as well. Your description needs to make your club feel appealing. That's what's going to drive them to go, yes, I want to come along. Your arrival times, one of the big tips is to make sure that you're very clear on how people get into the building. I have had people at my club where I go, oh, it's obvious, it's this door. And they've ended up all the way down somewhere else, down at a childcare. I'm not in a childcare centre, but sure, I act like a big kid. But that may not be where the club meeting is. This is where I mentioned about MeetUp being a tool that you combine with your club website, your social media. You combine them to be able to get those guests. So people will mark themselves as going on MeetUp, but so that your club committee, your VPM know exactly how many people are attending, put the link to your club website so that people can go in and mark or submit their registration of wanting to come along as a guest. We've all seen those emails from TI and from Easy Speak or Free Toast Toast that go, yes, you've got a prospective guest coming along. That's how you generate those. And download the mini flyers. Why not use it as an image? So there is frequently asked questions, because I have gone through it slightly quickly, and that way you can come and ask me the very random questions. So what I'm going to show now, I'm going to pause my sharing. I am going to show you how it actually works, as long as I find the right screen. We're going to pick a screen. All right, as you can see, I was on TI stuff today. If I push the share button. So this is actually my club meetup, because it was something that I learned when I came into the admin manager role. I went, why don't I? So we can see here it's got my club details there, and you can see here I've got organizer. So if you're a member of a group, it'll have it there, but it says that I'm an organizer, so I can create the event from there. When I go into the Victoria group, because my club's in Victoria, and we have a look at events. We give it a second because I'm doing a share screen. You can see here, Essendon Toastmasters, Maccabi, Mighty Docklands. So you can see there, you see the fun pictures that these guys have got. Let's pick Happy Hour because it does have our wonderful meeting master in that cover picture, which I love. That sparked my interest straight away as soon as I saw this. But we can see that they've got a description of exactly what date they've got, where to find them, some details of the club. They've got some fun pictures. Yes, they have attendees there, but not all of these people may attend. That's okay. But you can see here it's got different topics along there. So that's just a really good event. That's one that I like to use as an example. If I ever am not sure what to put, I'll use those guys. If I create an event, we can see here, let's go Melton Toastmasters Club. My meeting, I'm the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of the month. Come through and go, the 2nd Wednesday in February is going to be the 11th. My meeting time starts at 7:30, but I'm going to put it to start at 7:20 on MeetUp so that people get there early. I can pick a photo. I have lots of little club photos. And this is creating an event for the first time. So if I go through to my Google Drive, my committee have made it so that we've got a shared little drive here that we can put our club photos in. Because why not? I'll try and find a recent one. See some lovely division contest, area contest photos there. Let's pick that one. Just for a nice fun photo. So it's allowing me to save that picture. So that's the big picture that it's got up at the start. And for description, AI can help you. So for those who attended the education session last week about AI, welcome to AI being able to describe it. You can paste in, I'm actually going to go and find my events. And I'm going to open up my previous one because I made the description play with it. I asked one of the numerous AI sites to write it for me. So I like that description. Topics. So these topics, that's where I was saying about the algorithm, where the algorithm comes important. Toastmasters, public speaking, communication, personal development, and let's go for leadership. That triggers for the algorithm to pick those. I can pick my venue. My host is me. If there's 2 of you that are organisers, you can add a second host in there. You can make some optional, if you want RSVPs in on time, etc. So you can do those. And we can preview it. So this will just come up as a preview. This is what people will see when I publish it. That it'll be able to see attendees, it will be able to see the related topics. But that's how easy it is to be able to use this in MeetUp. So where it comes to now that I've got the beautiful yellow light, I do love a good yellow light, is that MeetUp is one of those tools that if your club's not using them, it's a question of why not? As you've been able to see, it's not difficult to create an event. Yes, the initial setup can be a little bit fiddly, but that's where I work with you on it. And it's a way to get your name, your club name out there to people that are targeted for it. So my final part is I want to open it up to any questions, comments. I know there's a couple of people on here who already use MeetUp. So if they have any tips or tricks that they want to share with the group before I hand back to Graeme. So if we got any questions. Amit, I love a good question.
I have a question as well as a recommendation and suggestion.
Yeah.
So our club has been using MeetUp for forever. So lessons learned, and I used to create all the events. So my question is, can we do recurring events instead of individual events?
You can indeed. There is the option when you're creating the event. One of the options down the bottom is repeat event. If you're once a month, it's quite easy because you just tell it monthly on this date. If you have it twice a month, you would need to create 2 separate events because then you'd go 2nd Wednesday on this one, fourth Wednesday on this one. Yes, it is possible to create a recurring. Obviously, be mindful if you do have to not have a meeting, then make sure that you go through and cancel it.
Yeah, we had a similar problem. So we meet on the first, third, and fifth Mondays, and we couldn't schedule it to meet every fortnight because that messed up the calendar.
Yeah.
Then we had to go manually create each one. So recurring didn't work. The suggestion that I had, and this came to me actually from a visitor. So what had happened was we set up our event and people registered, showed like 4 people attending, and then the visitor shows up and he finds 25 people in the room. So he was taken a bit back and like, I thought there was going to be a small group of 4 people, but no, it's actually a 20+ meeting group. So the recommendation that we have given to our club members is, whenever we put up an event, go in and mark yourself there as attending, because that automatically bumps up the numbers. So when someone is coming in, they're not, see a difference in the numbers. They're not like surprised by it. So pretty much all of our committee members just go in and say attending, attending, attending. So that kind of inflates it a bit.
I love it. Yeah, that's a really good tip. I love that tip. I'm going to add that to the pack as well, that will be released afterwards. And also with Kevin's observation as well, that people can actually ask questions on your meeting post. So you do need to make sure that you keep checking on it to answer those questions, to be able to keep those responses there and learn as you go as well.
Yeah, just on that one, actually, Dearne, what we have done
I'm
is on
sorry,
our
folks.
page.
I might just jump in here and try to keep us to time because we are on the red and we've
Easy.
got 2 more presentations to go. So don't want to scotch questions. If you've got questions, maybe put them into the chat. But thank you very much, Dearne. That was excellent. I'm sure we do have some more questions and we'll get to them when we can. Thanks, Dearne. And our next presenter is Amit Merwar. If you've not met Amit, then you've not met an excellent Toastmaster who has held many club appointments, many division appointments, many district appointments, very experienced Toastmaster. And tonight, I believe Amit is going to be talking about Easy Speak. So Amit, you have everything you need?
I do. Thank you, Graeme. That was going to be my introduction, but you already gave it. I will just add one more piece of information. I've been with Toastmasters for actually 2 pieces. Been with Toastmasters for about 8 years now, and my home club is Murray Docklands. All right, let me run my slideshow presentation quickly. Thank you everyone for jumping in on a Friday evening of a long weekend. I'm hoping you get to take away some key insights that we all bring in collectively to help you with your club. I'm going to be talking about a couple of the tools that we use at clubs. One of them is Easy Speak. The other alternative is Free Toasters. So clubs are free to choose which one they use. It's essentially a website that helps you streamline your club operations and enable member success. So today's agenda, I'm going to run through it relatively fast because I do want to give a quick demo at the end of Easy Speak. My home club uses that, so that's all I have access to. But we will also talk about Free Toasters. As I understand, Graeme is aware of how it works, as well as Dearne's club uses it. So any differences between the two, we'll have a quick chat about that as well. So just going to talk about what it's all about, then what benefits or what the member can see from their point of view and how it can help them, and how it can actually help make the life of a club officer easy. There's a few tools which you can use there, not just scheduling, but also tracking, etc. And we're going to talk about, how it also helps you track your progress as a member, as well as for the club officers to see where each member is. And some quick tips for success, quick summary, and what do we want to do next. And then I'll get into a quick demo of Easy Speak, and then we'll open up for questions. So what is it? It's, like I mentioned before, it's a free centralized website for managing all your meetings, scheduling, not just a calendar, and it's specifically designed for Toastmasters. The problem it solves essentially is it replaces any Excel spreadsheets if clubs are still using them, answers the question, who's doing what in the next meeting? It removes all the manual formatting. So You can export it out into a PDF, and we'll talk a bit more on that. And it also helps you with clear role assignments and tracking what's there. Couple of things to also note about this. Both of these websites, they do not integrate with the Toastmasters ecosystem. So their website, so whatever projects, roles that you're doing here doesn't link back to Toastmasters. So you have to submit all your projects on Pathways separately. It is a replica of Pathways, so the projects, paths, etc., are all similar to what you see on Pathways. It is complimentary. Both of them are free to Toastmasters Club, and they can be pretty easily set up. There is a learning curve to each one of them, which is why I would recommend any new Toastmaster who joins the club, when they get their credentials, gets to spend time with, a buddy or an experienced Toastmaster, or even somebody from the club committee, to take them through how the portal actually works. What are some of the features, what to do, what not to do, etc. Just to help with that initial onboarding. And yes, every new Toastmaster should get an automatic email saying, here's a link for your Toastmasters account, which gets you into Pathways, etc. And here's a link for your scheduling account, which is either EasySpeak or Free Toast. One of the big things I've found as we have evolved through the years with our club, I've been with it for 8 years now, that it actually remembers everything. It tracks all the roles that you've done in the past, so you can actually go back and see. It's great for the club officers because then they can track and see who's been doing what, everything, and what's coming up next as well. And it has switched from the legacy system, which is what CCCL pathways were earlier, into the pathways as well. So you can actually go and see what progress you have made across both the systems. So I really like that. It helped me a lot when I was doing the VP education role in tracking who's been doing what, who's the list of active members, and who's attending, etc. Okay, for the members, straightforward. Just go in, click either you will attend or you will not attend. And this is a key thing. It's very crucial for the Toastmaster of the day or the evening to know, who is coming or not coming. It helps drive the agenda. It helps track who's been there doing what, because you don't want to show up at a meeting unannounced without having a role. Then the Toastmaster has to scuttle around and see, okay, what roles are available? What do I give you? So it's always better to have a planned meeting with assigned roles. You can have an option for self-service. So if you want to do an evaluation role, or if you see that somebody is speaking and they've requested you to do an evaluation, you can go and jump in, accept that role. If you want to take up smaller roles, it's a busy week, you don't want to do something big, so timer, grammarian, etc., you can also become the Toastmaster of the evening. And that is a big role. And that actually opens up a lot more access for you when you pick up that role, because then you can assign roles and you can assign speeches, etc. Requesting a speech on EasySpeak is a two-step process. You cannot, as a member, go in and straight away sign up for a speech. So you will have to go in, select which path you want to do, put in your speech title, intro, and request for preferred dates. You can give a range of dates. And in the background, of course, go back to your VPE and tell them, I want to do a speech, and then they'll assign it to you on EasySpeak or Free Toast Host. Now, I spoke about this club office's power tools, and this makes it so much easier for everyone. There's an export option there, say print, and you get a nice professional looking, branded with your club's information, branded with Toastmasters information, timing information, everything in a single PDF. You can set it for 1 or 2 pages depending on how your agenda is set up. No need of creating it in Word, no need of creating it in Excel. This generates a PDF which you just print out and bring to the meeting. Simple as that. Helps with the communication. So this is something I'll also show when I do the demo of EasySpeak. You can send emails saying, I have assigned you a role. You can send emails saying, asking for vacant roles for volunteers. And you can send reminders saying, confirm your role. It's a single click option. It goes out to everybody in the club. And then, of course, the automated tracking. So when the meeting is closed by either the VP or the secretary, the system automatically pushes that information into the personal history. And this helps you with tracking who's progressing where. Okay, talking about tracking, you can see progress charts. You can see exactly which member has completed where and what project, which level, which path. What it also helps me, or the VPE role that I was doing earlier, was it used to give me alerts saying so and so member hasn't come to a meeting for such and such duration. So then you can figure out who hasn't come in here, who hasn't been speaking for a while, and have that conversation with them saying, what's happening? Why aren't you picking up speeches, or why aren't you coming into the club meetings, etc. So it gives that level of insight, which you can engage with your members a lot more. And of course, all in all, it gives you the DCP points as well. So you can track how the DCP points are progressing if the members continue to submitting their projects on pathways, because like I said before, they are not interlinked, they don't talk to each other. So whatever projects are completed on your club's website, which is Easy Speak or Free Toast Host, the members have to go and complete them on pathways as well. Quick tips, pro tips for success. Bookmark the URL, easy to go. You don't have to hunt for it every time. So these are the two links to the two websites. Important, RSVP by Friday night. If you've got a club meeting happening on Monday, do not push it to the weekend, because what happens is the Toastmaster of the day or the evening basically sets the theme, which gets published on the agenda. And then if you're doing a table topics master role, ideally you want your table topics from the theme. Speeches, if you're doing an evaluation, you want to know who the speaker is, what the speech title is, which project they're on. So it's essentially garbage in, garbage out. So if you're not putting in data in there, you're going to have vacant slots. The meeting's not going to be as planned as everybody wants it to be. People don't know what others are doing. So it takes 5 minutes, actually less than 5 minutes. If you know what role you want to do, just go in 30 seconds, select, yes, I want to do this role. And usually most clubs have future meetings added as well. So just go in saying, next month, I just want to focus on evaluations. I have an evaluation contest coming up and, I'm competing. So I want to practice. So I want to do evaluations for the next 3 meetings. Or if you want to do speeches for the next 3 meetings to practice for your contest, talk to your VP, tell them to schedule you for 3 speeches, and then that way you can get feedback and get more practice. But important thing is give as much notice as you can to your club committee, because that's how they'll plan the meeting out for you. And of course, keep your project details updated, because that's how they'll track your progress and see how you're progressing with your education. Quick summary, what it actually helps out with. If everyone puts in their data correctly, all the meetings look great, feels professional, printed professional agendas on desks. The guests come in, they look at it, they're like, wow, this is really professional, really well-run club. I have an agenda to look at. I see who's a speaker, I see who's the evaluator, I see how much time they have to spend, I see what the agenda is, I see what the theme of the meeting is. So very professional output. Legacy and history of the club. So when your club committee changes every year, the data still stays within the club. So you can track and see, who's been doing what roles, who's been doing what projects over the last few years. And, that's the conversation you want to have with the members saying, what's next for you? What are you interested in? I see that you've been doing this for so long. What area do you want to develop next? So it gives you that bit of insight again. So my call to action to everyone today being Friday night, log in tonight to your respective club's website and RSVP for your next meeting. Whether it's next week or 2 weeks from now, pick a role, accept your speeches, start working on your role. All right, let's do a quick demo on the website for my home club, which I mentioned was Mighty Docklands. So if I go into Toastmasters website and I say find a club, let's say I go by area, Docklands, Melbourne, say 5 miles, zooms in, there's still a few clubs here, and that's my club here. And I go into visit my website. Another important thing, make sure your link and contact information is updated. Club offices change, contact information changes, so make sure this is updated every time, including your location, where are you meeting, any changes to your club membership restrictions, etc. And then also update your location over here because guests will use this website at times. So if I click here, this takes me to my club's homepage, which is on EasySpeak. Bit of verification. I'm already signed in, so it already shows me my landing page and keep your information up to date. Just these are easily editable. If you have access as a VPE, you should be able to go in and edit this. So put as much information as you want over here. We actually ask people to email us if there's any questions. Even in our meetup page, that's what we put in saying, please send us an email on this and somebody will get back to you. Now, quick things I want to show you about this. So this is your homepage. You do have a lot of templates over here. I don't know if Free Toasters offers the same functionality. I don't use it, but you do get a lot of templates over here. For example, you want to report a template, table topics, idea sheet, timer report template. So you can print these out if you're doing, let's say, a Toastmaster of the day. There's an agenda over here which you can look at, and it tells you step by step what you want to do as a Toastmaster. So I found this very useful, and whenever we have had new members becoming Toastmasters for the first time, I generally send this template for them, and they found it really useful. The second thing is you can customize agendas. So I'll show you the agenda which we have for 2nd of February. Now I've taken on an admin role over here just for this demo. So I can actually go and say edit agenda. So for example, if I have a 2-speaker agenda, so there's a Heartmaster with 3 speakers, there's an induction agenda, there's no educational agenda. So you can create multiple agendas here. You can also say 2 speakers, or you can say changeover dinner, Christmas dinner, contest night, 3 contests. And that comes up over here, which you can again add your members there and print it out. So there you go. There's your agenda for your contest night. So you can customize agendas. You can also send out email comps like I was mentioning. So for example, if I go here to my meeting, I see the green light and I say email. It gives me options over here saying, thank you for confirming your role. I have not assigned you a role. I have assigned you a role. Generally, we do the 3rd, 4th, and 5th emails. So 3rd one says, I have assigned you a role. You get an email as a member saying you have been put for this role. The 4th one saying, asking for vacant roles. Let me zoom in a bit, actually. And you can also send an agenda. So typically we use the 3rd and 4th ones. And then a few days before the actual meeting, we resend these emails again. What else can we do with this? User profiles, like I was saying, you can track user history. You can also go into club information, like club offices. Like I mentioned, I have got admin access as IT support over here for this, but it also shows you who are the club officers. As a regular user, you should be able to see your club officers here as well. So that's on EasySpeak demo. Any questions so far? I will switch back to the presentation actually. So this is what Free Toast Host looks like. Like I said, I don't have access to it, but I'm happy for anyone to come off mute and just chat about similar functionalities or if there's anything different. Dearne, do you want to add anything to Free Toast Host content or Graeme?
I certainly can, actually. I'm
Sure.
having a bit of play in Free Toast Host at the moment. So Free Toast Host does give you a similar thing with your agendas. You can set your agendas multiple months in advance. So I've actually set agendas for our club up to, I think, August next year, just because it is something there. When you look at the agenda, it gives you the theme of the evening straight away. It gives you public downloads as well. So I will add in documents that I've seen through TI, link that in for a file manager. Tracking the guest email address is something that's really good in Free Toast Host, because when you're looking as a VPM in particular, you can see what guests have actually agreed to it, or prospective members or new members. So it's easy in that sense. For people to sign up to a role, there's a giant sign up button, which works really well as well. And looking in the background at the meeting roles is similar. And as I did pop in the chat, we've also got to remember for pathways now that you have to achieve certain meeting roles. So to log that, you can go back in and look at previous role reports and see what happens from there. Print up multiple meetings in a row. So if you want to forward plan it, but have a printed version sitting there. And Free Toast Host, we were actually discussing before, is mobile friendly, which is always beneficial.
Yeah, unfortunately, EasySpeak is not mobile friendly, so it displays on a regular web page, unfortunately. But I love the functionality. And I was just looking at the chat in the meantime as well. Yes, it does show you who's done what role before. So that really helps with scheduling, because you don't want somebody repeating roles ongoing. So if I go back here, let's do a quick show. I know I'm on the red, Graeme. So if I say here, third, let's say, Sergeant at Arms, bad choice, Toastmaster. There we go. It shows Namrita had done it 168 days ago. Fiona had done it. So it shows you the last time this person did this role. So then you can choose somebody who's not done the role before. So that really helps.
Yeah, and Free Toast Host has similar, where you go to assign someone to a role and it'll have in brackets how many times they've done that role before. So if you've had someone that's done timer 7 times, then you'll go, they've done that enough. Let's put them into something else.
Okay, folks. Sorry, gonna have to step in again. Red means red when I'm here.
Back to you, Graeme.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Amit. That's excellent. I have compiled some stuff using my friend Gemini, which is one of the LLM AIs, which has done a comparison of the two. You usually have to check stuff that comes through from AI. In fact, you always do. I've looked at these and they seem to be pretty good, so I'll put them in the chat. However, our next speaker is Charlotte Lloyd. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Charlotte is going to be talking to us about, what are you talking about, Charlotte? I'm sorry.
Turning guests into members.
Turning guests into members, of course. Charlotte is the area director of N31, I believe, this year. So
That is correct.
I will give you over to Charlotte. You got everything you need, Charlotte?
I do. Thank you so much.
Over to you.
Thank you very much for that lovely introduction, Graeme. And yes, you are correct. I am the area director of N31, and I am also the president of Northern Exposure Toastmasters in Preston. Northern Exposure Toastmasters, it's very humble that it has such a number of members inside its community, and it also converts a number of guests into its membership every month and every year. So I thought I'd take you through a little bit about how we do that at Northern Exposure. Let me just share my screen. It's all right. So as we go on first and we take on from what Dearne and Amit has been talking about, is it is so important to have your first impressions correct before your guest arrives. Now, this can be on a multitude of different places because you never know quite where they are finding you from, whether that be your Google impressions or the website, things like the MeetUp and Eventbrite. Please make sure if you're on one, then you're checking the other as well, and you haven't got any old information sitting on those past websites. It needs to be really important what time you actually start your meeting as opposed to what time you expect your visitors to show up. There's nothing quite as uncomfortable as walking into a room that you don't know and all of a sudden the meeting has already begun. If you'd like your people to come 5-10 minutes before, mark that as the start time so that they know that when they walk into the room, it's people chatting and getting ready rather than already up at the lectern presenting. This reduces a huge amount of anxiety. Make it easy to find. Everybody knows where they've been once they've been there the first time, but if you're reading something off a Google Maps, or if you're at a side door next to a bowling centre, make sure that you've got those handy tips and tricks marked on your website. If they have already reached out to you via email, which is so often the case, then make sure that you have a nice composite of an email ready to copy and paste to go back to them saying, handy tips to come into our venue. Pull-up banners are a great way to inform people that it's Toastmasters so that they're not walking into a meeting room with a shut door and they're unsure when they first open that door if they're actually going to be coming into the right space. If you don't have the budget or the means for a pull-up banner, a simple A3 printed sign or A4 laminated colour Toastmasters International logo, blue tacked up on the sign works just as well. Personal invitations can make a huge difference to somebody feeling like they're actually coming and not just getting a generic bounce back email. So if somebody does reach out to you, take the time to make it sound genuine and that it just doesn't look like a copy and paste email from back in the early 2000s. I always find it really important to treat your guests like VIPs because they are. As soon as you recognise a person that you don't recognise coming into your club, stand up, smile, walk over, introduce yourself. It can go a long, long way. Some clubs have dedicated people to be able to do this role, and that works really nicely. But if your club isn't that organised or formal, or you have maybe a bit of a rotating roster of attendees within your cohort, then always make sure that if you've got somebody walk into the room who doesn't quite look like they've been there before, make sure that you introduce and warmly greet them. I think it's a really big point to say never let a guest just walk in and sit down. If they're wondering what's happening, then they may feel a little bit of discomfort, but also it's a great chance for you to utilise your table topic skills of going over and doing some impromptu speaking with them. When you're with them, explain the how and the why of what's going to happen tonight. They may not have seen an agenda, they may not have ever been to a Toastmasters International meeting before. We tend to have our ways of working, so have a chat with them, talk to them a little bit about the roles that are going to be working. If you have one of those lovely agendas on the table that Amit has mentioned about printing out from Free Toast Host or Easy Speak, you can walk through them a little bit about what they can expect from the night ahead. I always think it's important to understand why they are there and what they may get out of it. So I know that there's a lot of different roles within Toastmasters that can link back to your careers and your leadership and why it's important to partake and be active in those roles. Not necessarily in the first meeting, but as they gain more confidence around being there. It can be nerve-wracking. It can be fearful walking into a space, even if you are a confident person. If you've never been in a room with a whole lot of different people who are genuinely quite excited and vivacious and are confident because they have been in that room many times before, as a guest, it can be nerve-wracking. So taking the opportunity to explain to them and encourage them to participate if they would like, but knowing that it's not forced. And I always try and state that very early on in the conversation, kind of within the first 2 minutes. And it can reduce a lot of their fear, make them open to doing it, and then they may have the confidence to step into a speaking role if they so wish. I believe that people join people, they don't join clubs. So showcase your culture It's not all about the structure within Toastmasters. The warmth and the energy in the room, the fact that the members are there to support each other can go a huge way to making sure that that guest joins your club and not the club down the road. Encourage them to clap when they think somebody's done a really good job and give out that positive language. People can feel a little nervous or unsure if they should be clapping, especially if you've got somebody doing their icebreaker speech that night and all of a sudden everybody jumps to their feet for a standing ovation. They never quite know whether they're meant to be joining in or not. I always believe telling your success stories goes a long way. So letting them know that, hey, when I first joined Toastmasters, I was so nervous about coming to the right place, I nearly didn't even come in the door. And it may have taken a friend of mine 6 months before they stood up and gave their first table topics point of view because they really didn't want to speak in front of a crowd. Giving those real life stories makes others feel like it's okay to be uncertain and it's okay to join a club that is going to be supportive rather than pressured. I think a lot of clubs tend to fall down on this one, but making the next steps obvious is so important. A guest shouldn't ask if they can join. Members should be saying, or your VP of membership preferably, coming and saying, hey, would you like to join? Would you like the information about joining? And either having the brochures, printed document, or a link that can be sent to them afterwards on the steps of joining that club. They say that it takes 7 times before somebody accepts something. So coming to the meeting is generally the 3rd or 4th point of contact within Toastmasters. They've done the website Googling, they've reached out, they've finally joined a meeting. Make sure that communication is there to actually be able to process that person into being a member very easily. And follow up fast and personally. People like to be contacted, especially if they got meaning out of the meeting. So make sure that they understand that coming to the meeting wasn't the finish line. It was just the beginning of a really great journey. At Northern Exposure, we try to do this within 24 to 48 hours. It could be an email, a text message, or if the person's okayed it, a phone call. But generally it's through written communication, so it's not too pushy. And we try and make sure that there's something quite specific and personal to them. So at the very beginning of the meeting, if they had said, I'm here to get more confidence as I'm going to a job interview and I'd like to be able to speak professionally, in that follow-up conversation, you know, good luck for the interview. We'd love to have you back again to work on these skills. It's about making it personable. And most importantly, to absolutely have fun. Remember, people join people, they don't join clubs. So make sure that the fun and vivaciousness of your club really comes through. Thank you very much. And do you have any questions, team? I'm really hoping I was on mute for that whole time and that there are people out there in the audience.
Okay, so there we go. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Does anyone have any? Oh, wait, sorry. Dearne has a question.
So the challenge that I sometimes have with my club, with those guest inquiries and being able to convert them, is like just that uncertainty and being able to get them through the uncertainty part. What things have Northern Exposure used to start working through that hurdle? And what tips or tricks have you had? Yes, the consistent contact's great. How do you get them to come back to the second meeting?
Okay. So when you say uncertainty, I always like to understand from the actual guest what they could be concerned about. And that can be a quiet conversation Generally in the break at our club has a social break in the middle. I like to go up to them and see how they're going and see if they have any reservations, concerns, or questions at that point. I do it at that point because at the end of the meeting, often guests, if they are a little bit uncertain, they can be straight out the door. And if they're straight out the door, you've already missed them. So I like to do it in the break, and I like to understand the reasons and the drivers that they have. And then I hone in on those. So let's take the interview situation. Is it getting up and presenting? Have they been sent by their manager because they're not going to get a promotion unless they can speak better in front of their team? Hone in on that, and then I bring it back to a relatable story about how Toastmasters can then provide them that support in that area. Uncovering their uncertainty, I guess, is my key core there, Dearne.
I love that, and it's good, and yeah, it helps with a lot of those guests. And the unfortunate part is when you have too many guests and not enough people to talk to them.
Correct. I have been guilty of the fact that sometimes our break in the middle does go a little bit long because you are trying to get round to all the guests. But divide and conquer. If your VPE is busy with somebody or they're not in attendance that night, look around to your fellow club officers or long-term Toastmasters. They may not be a club officer, and say, hey, I'm going to go this way. Would you mind going that way? And divide and conquer with your guests. Absolutely.
Love it.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for any of our presenters tonight? Also, can I ask that the presenters upload their slide decks to chat?
Absolutely, we can.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. No, this is a very useful session. All the presenters are amazing. Like a lot of information. Dearne, Amit, Charlotte, like a lot of information, very useful information. Yeah, and pretty easy for people to follow and implement these suggestions and tips right away.
Yeah,
very good. Well done.
And I guess my big thing, VJ, along with that is that for any of the people that were on the recording or any of the people here, if they get stuck, email the leadership team. My admin email address is open for any of those queries, and obviously I can always email Charlotte or Amit or anything of that nature. So don't hide, just contact. Now,
while we're waiting for the slide decks, I would like to direct your attention towards my screen because there's some interesting information there that you may or may not be aware of. Who can tell me what's happening this year in May? And I'll give you a clue. The answer's right there.
The conference.
It's the conference. Woo! The 2026 District Conference. Yes, every year we have the D73 conference. We have some excellent speakers giving keynote speeches and workshops. We celebrate new DTMs on the Saturday morning with a breakfast. We have a gala dinner on the Saturday night, which is a time for celebration and fun for everyone. And of course, we have the finals of all of our speech contests, so it's well worth coming along. Now, you too can come to the District 73 conference, and if you like bargains, well, there's a bargain on right now because the first 50 people that come along will receive a discounted price of $300 for the whole weekend. That's a bargain, my friends, a bargain. After that, it goes up slightly. But if you want to save money, it's the time to do it is now. I just put the URL for the district conference website into the chat. So I recommend that you go there right now, this second, and buy your ticket if you haven't already.
The early registration tickets are starting to run out because they're limited in number.
Yeah.
I actually got the numbers through from our conference organizer only earlier today, and I'm looking at it going, uh-oh, if you want that early bird, you really have to get in soon because they're starting to run out.
The conference chair is in the room. Yeah, you're right. The conference chair is in the room. Of course, the conference chair is in the room. The conference chair is Sue Pederick. Sue, is there anything you would like to add to what we've already said?
You're on mute, Sue, and you are like a upside down, sideways.
That's better. Oh, you're in the car. Oh, sorry. Maybe I'll let you off if you like.
Mute. Yeah.
Here I am. Yes, fantastic. Love the promotion that we're getting around from different members and different parts of the team. We've got an amazing team. We've got VJ, we've got Daryl, we've got Charlotte here as well. We've got lots of people that are involved in the team. We've also got background support and encouragement and enthusiasm from our Zoom master tonight, who we're trying to get his name on the website, but he's reluctant for that, but he's very much part of our team. So please come along, please be supportive of the district conference. We've got so much in store for you, and it would be wonderful to see as many faces as possible. We're bringing in a man from Texas, Mike Carr, and he's amazing as well. So over to you, VJ, if you've got anything else to say.
Yeah, and I would just say the early bird tickets are selling out really fast. So I would highly recommend go and grab those tickets. Like, this is the best opportunity for you to gift yourself something good. Okay, so you can for 3 days, 2.5 days, you can learn from people, connect with the other Toastmasters, the district leaders, Toastmasters members, and then world-class leaders. You can learn from them. There's some workshops. There's a number of workshops scheduled for 2.5 days, and then you get to see the district contest as well. So grab those tickets and gift yourself this excellent opportunity.
Okay, everyone, that's the end of our session. Thank you so much for coming along tonight. We hope that you've enjoyed it and that you found something useful. As VJ said, we will have the session up on the district YouTube channel very soon. So thanks for coming. Have a great long weekend and go buy your tickets right now for the district conference. Thanks, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, team.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.